This morning, I walked into my mom's house where my office is, and she was like, "What is in your shirt?" And I was like, "What?" And she's like, "It looks like there's a Kleenex, a tissue sticking out of the top of your shirt." And I was like, "Yeah, I now keep a tissue in my brassiere just in case I sneeze. COVID times." Hey, I'm Heather, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is a place where I coach busy moms who want to grow their business with more heart and less hustle. And before we get into our topic today, which is how to create motivation, part 2, I would love it if you would give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. Just take a quick screenshot, post it on Instagram, tag me, I'll repost you. Today we're talking all about part 2 of how to create motivation. So to review, go back and watch last week's video, but quick review, we talked about what doesn't create motivation is, number 1, blaming our lack of motivation on our circumstances. Thinking that something is going to happen outside of us that's going to help us feel motivated or not feel motivated. It's just not true. Motivation is an emotion and it's created by our thoughts. So we can create that motivation anytime we want. The second thing that doesn't work is shaming ourselves, telling ourselves we should be feeling more motivated and feeling bad that we're not feeling motivated, giving ourselves a hard time because we're not thinking the right thoughts. All of that doesn't work. Shame's a terrible motivator. It might get you moving for a little while, but it eventually will lead to burnout. So today we're going to talk about what does create motivation. Before I get into that though, I had some interesting conversations this week in my emails and my DMs, and I realized that there are a lot of people out there who are different than me, surprise, and don't necessarily want to keep growing and changing and evolving and pushing the envelope of their business or their life. And that's totally fine. If you are in a space or a season where you just want to maintain a certain level of health, I'm here for it. I love that. I think that's amazing. But I just have to say that I am always going to be driven to keep going. I love a challenge. I love change. I love pushing myself to grow and evolve. And I know that setting new goals is a way to do that, because when we set a new goal, it makes our brain go to work on figuring out the how. For example, I set the goal in my first year of business to make 100K. I picked that number because I knew I had no clue how to do that. I was like, I have no skills. I don't know. And when I don't know, it really forces me to move into a space of belief so that my brain can unlock creativity. And the person that I became last year as I pursued that goal, that's the real win of 2020, was who I became in the process of figuring that out. Now, yes, I did hit that goal, but that wasn't the big win of the whole thing. The big win was who I became. And so when I looked at 2021, I was like, okay, what number do I need to pick that's going to push me to that next level of growth internally, right? Because I could have just gone for another 100K, and I knew how to do that, and it would have been awesome. But I wanted the change. I wanted the growth. I wanted the challenge. And so I picked 250, because guess what? I have no freaking clue how to do that. That feels beyond my current abilities. And that's what I love, is because it brings me to the edges of where my belief ends and then helps me to expand my belief and expand my faith in what's possible. And that is what I'm here for. So just to say, if you want to maintain a certain level of health, there is nothing wrong with that. That is not less important than the work that I'm doing here. But I'm going to keep pushing forward. I just am. It's just how I'm wired. I'm guessing a lot of you are wired like me, and we're going to keep driving ahead because we just can't help it. Is that you? Is that you as well? Leave a comment if you're like me and you're just driven to keep growing and changing. With all of that being said, there are ways that we can create motivation in ourselves. And if you're not feeling motivated and you're waiting for it to come hit you upside the back of your head, you don't have to do that. You can actually create it yourself. And one of the most powerful and effective and easy ways to create motivation is to find a thought that helps you feel motivated. Now, there's a couple of little brain hacks that I want to share with you that will help you to take any thought and change it into one that your brain can actually believe. When I set the goal for my 250K year for my business, I immediately felt all this resistance. My brain offered me all of the reasons that it wasn't going to work. It gave me the classic lines like, you don't know how to do that. What if you fail? You're going to end up burning out. All kinds of thoughts, because our brains don't like change. They're like, keep everything the same. That's what's most efficient. When it comes to finding powerful thoughts, here's what most people do. We look at the thought we're currently thinking, like, I don't know how to make 250K. and we try to tell ourselves the total opposite thought. I do know how to make 250K. But the problem is that that is such a big jump. That's going from a negative 10 thought to a plus 10 thought, and it's just too big of a leap for most of our brains to make. And for a thought to really be powerful, our brain needs to have even just a shred of belief in the new thought to be able to think it. And the reason that belief is important is because when you believe something, it creates emotion, and emotion is the fuel for action. Right? So if the thought you're thinking doesn't create a positive, powerful emotion, then you know it's not the right thought. So let me give you an example. If I say, I don't know how to make 250K, and then I say, I totally know how to make 250K, my brain calls BS on that plus 10 thought. And so now that doesn't mean I want to scrap that thought entirely. It just means I want to shift it slightly so that I can believe it more easily. And there's two little phrases that are going to help you take that plus 10 thought and make it more believable to your brain. And those two phrases are, it's possible that, and I'm learning. Okay? So instead of, I know how to make 250K, I could say, it's possible that I could make 250K this year. Or I could say, I am learning how to make 250K this year. Both of those feel believable to my brain, and they create emotions inside of me that are going to motivate me to take action. From that thought, I feel excited, I feel curious, I feel interested to figure it out. And then from those emotions, I take action. Let's take the thought that you are currently thinking in any area of your life, whether it's your business or your health or your relationship, and there's a part of you that's probably thinking, I don't know how to do this, I can't do this, I feel stuck, it's too hard. Make it the opposite. Okay, I do know how to do this, I'm not stuck, I can create the results I want in my business, whatever it is. Now ask yourself, do I believe this thought? Do you believe it? And if you find that there is no belief in you, it creates no emotion because your brain is just like, that's not true, then try adding, it's possible, or I'm learning. Now, once you find a powerful thought, so you've added I'm learning or it's possible, and your brain believes it even just a little bit, all you need to focus on is thinking that thought once a day, every day for 63 days. Neuroscience says that our brains are neuroplastic, and what that means is that we can teach an old dog new tricks. We can teach a brain that's been believing a certain thing for years and years and years a new thought or belief in just 63 days. So instead of focusing on taking all this action and trying to make things happen, I want you to just come back to focusing on building your belief. So every day, think that new powerful thought. It's possible that I could make this amount of money in my business. I'm learning how to be an incredible wife and mom. Practice that thought. Put it as a reminder in your phone. Write it on a sticky note in your mirror. I like to practice my powerful thoughts when I'm brushing my teeth because I gotta brush my teeth anyways. I may as well use that time to think a powerful thought. And what's gonna happen is for the 63 days, your brain's gonna be offering you the old thought and the new thought, and it's gonna feel like resistance and it's gonna feel uncomfortable. But trust me when I say that if you practice that thought every single day for 63 days, you're going to start to think it naturally. It's gonna pop into your head instead of you needing to intentionally work on thinking it. One of my clients in Life Launch recently said that she had been tracking her new thought literally every day, and she got to day 63 and she realized that the biggest thing that had changed is she didn't have to work so hard to think that thought anymore. It was like the new lens that she was seeing the world and herself and her business through. How amazing is that? You haven't checked out Life Launch yet, you need to come check it out. Life Launch is my monthly coaching community where we do weekly group coaching calls and I coach you on this exact process. It's one thing to learn it here in theory, but it's a whole other thing to be able to apply it to your own life so that you can see that change and transformation that you've been looking for. The doors are open for May. Come and join us. I'm about to launch my new site, my new membership area, and then our prices are going to be increasing a bit. So if you want to get in on the current pricing, now is the time. All right, that is all for this week. Again, thumbs up, subscribe, share. I love you, and I hope that you have an incredible week.